And we are live. Welcome back to the Triple Cross Podcast. Today we are talking jaw suspension.
The
suspension episode. What's it going to be? I don't know. I'm here with Casey. I'm here with Jared, and we're going to talk about it right after this.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right. Excited to talk some hoops, man. It's been too long, Jared. How you doing?
Way
buddy?
too long. Doing great. Yeah, excited to chat hoops as well. It's been too long.
It's a little different today, though. We got me and Casey in person.
What's up, bro?
And you're the man. Hey, hello.
That's
It's
right.
nice to meet you.
I'm Casey.
I'm John.
We've never met before.
Yeah, first time meeting in real life. And Jared's the one joining us from his room.
How do you like being in a little box?
Yeah. It's great, I love that I was on
Jared.
the TV in the back.
Yeah. But we are talking jaw today. But first, let's do the sponsor thing. Let's not forget to do the sponsor thing.
Agreed.
And so I'll go first. Today's episode is brought to you by Andar Everyday Carry Goods. They got stuff like this wallet right there. Let me make sure I got it lined up. So look at that little card in the front. That's our hotel card. That's where Casey and I are right now, is in a hotel. Got a card in the back. You can also use that one for cash. A lot of people use that one for cash. And then you got wha-bam! Wha-bam! There's your cards. Whammy. Okay. Yeah, pretty cool. Andar Pilot Wallet. It's in stock right now. It's almost always out of stock, right? So it's out of stock like 2/3 or 3/4 of the time. They can't keep it in stock. It is in stock right now. Go to andar.com or click the link in the description and use code TRIPLE15 to get 15% off in Andar Pilot. Today's episode is brought to you by the Pilot. You can get anything at Andar. You don't have to get a Pilot. The code will work on anything, but highly suggest the Pilot. It's what I use.
And if you don't go tonight, you might not get one. So
Yeah,
till after the show, but go immediately after the show.
Immediately after the show,
Get you that Pilot.
go get yourself a Pilot.
Also, this show is brought to you by Canadips. Canadips, the brand best known for bringing CBD straight to your doorstep. Order it online in little tiny, they actually have little canisters. It comes in little pouches within the canisters. You pop those into your little oral cavity, and you might have a big oral cavity.
You might, yeah.
You put it in there, and you feel good. So go check out
That's how that
Canadips.
works.
Go use code BELLY20 or BELLYUP20.
I think it's belly up 20.
I don't have it in front of me today, but go check it out. You can save 20% off your. If that doesn't work, try the 15s too. Either save 15 or 20%. We're on location today, guys, so cut us a break. Try Canadips. Check it out. Today's
Today's episode's also brought to you by Perk Chinos. Perk Chinos are chinos that make blah, blah, blah. Sometimes.
Is that what they make?
Yeah, they make blah, blah, blah.
I've heard of that
Blah, blah,
before.
blah.
Is that a bubble gum?
Yeah, it's Chino bubblegum. Chino
bubblegum.
flavored bubblegum.
Gross.
PerkChinos.com. No.
Perk clothing is not associated with any Chino flavored bubblegum products.
Perk Clothing, they make chinos that make man butts look good. I look at a lot of man butts, and I can tell you they do not look good for the most part. Unless they're Jared's. Jared's looks pretty good, no matter what he's wearing. But anybody's can look good in Perk. They move the spacing around in the chinos that frees up the front.
Yeah.
Sometimes dress pants chinos are a little tight in the front.
Yeah.
Not enough spacing up there.
Let's go ahead and say they make your front look better too.
They make your front feel better, that's for sure. And that's what's important in the front, And then they make the back look better. There's actually link in the description. So for them, it's link in the description for buy one, get one 50% off. Casey, who else?
This episode is brought to you by Triple Cross Podcast. Our giveaway, our NBA giveaway. You can enter to win any jersey of your choice. We will fund that for you if you are the winner of our giveaway. It's in the show notes as well. So drop down below into the show notes if you are interested in winning yourself your choice of an NBA jersey. We're talking jaw today. If you're kind of into just like overall, just kind of mischief and like just some like questionable
Life decisions.
activities. Yeah,
Life decisions. Yeah.
maybe get yourself a jaw jersey. You never know, or somebody else.
Yeah. Or someone
Maybe
else.
somebody else.
Right.
Today,
Well,
let's
let's
do
talk some Dylan Brooks. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Get the technical
Maybe
foul.
Desmond Bain. There's going to be
Yeah.
a kind of a scoring void on that team, so you never know.
Tyus Jones. Something.
Tyus, probably the better breakdown call.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Glad everyone's here. What up, everybody? Thanks for hopping in the chat. August, are y'all live on Playback? If you guys don't know, we've been going live to Playback a lot. We're kind of doing more of like a private community, smaller community thing there. So join us on Playback if you want. And we're doing more like live streams, watch alongs, things like that on Playback. It's a lot of fun. It's a pretty cool platform for Playback, for live stream. But no, this is the normal weekly show. August, we're not live on Playback today. NBA Shop gift cards. Yes, we are giving away 2 NBA Shop gift cards today. Everybody who hops in the chat, you got to hop in the chat and tell us. What should we have them tell us? What's your favorite?
What's your shoe size?
Yeah, hop in the chat and tell us your shoe size in European sizing. I'm just kidding. Any sizing. Tell us your shoe size. Felix, you can be in European sizing.
Is that random enough? I'm the random guy on this show.
Yeah. Tell me your shoe size in the chat. You get entered to win an NBA Shop gift card. We're giving away 2 $25 gift cards today. Ben, what up? Felix, or Michael, sorry, what up? Felix, in person hits different. Felix, Jared and I are always in person. Are you saying that? What the heck, man?
Chemistry's great, but ours is great.
Yeah, ours is 20 years of chemistry. Forged in the fires of
hottest fires of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Joe Rogan needs to take notes. Hotel room podcasts are the new trend. You know what I've actually seen as the new trend on podcasts is RVs. People drive their RV around and do it.
It's probably like Bussin' with the Boys style. They kind of set that.
Yeah. Like
I don't think that bus is mobile though.
Well, like Steve-O has one where he does that.
Yeah,
I think
Steve-O,
he does the RV podcast.
Hey guys,
up is that?
I'm gonna put a sparkler in my bunghole.
Yeah. August hopping in. Felix. Joe always watching TCP. That's right. So that's Matt behind the scenes. He's in the chat.
Ben, you got some big feet, bro.
Ben Hansen got some. He's got some boats.
Dang,
he's got
you know what they say about big feet?
Big shoes.
That's it.
That's what they say about it.
I like how I can easily exit.
It's been a lot of me and Casey today. Jared, how you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm jealous though where you guys are at. It's been snowing all day here, and so it's not been great. But I love talking sports, so it's much better now.
It is weird to be wearing a t-shirt down here. Like everyone else is wearing like jackets, and we're like, it's so nice though.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll get all 3 of us in person, and then it will be an amazing podcast.
It'll be epic.
I got to shout out some of the people in the chat. I mean, we were live last night, like we already talked about.
Yeah.
Great to see some people here. Barely more than 12 hours later, really?
Yeah. August 11 and a half. August was on with us last night.
August. I believe August.
I don't know if August won that.
Sorry if you didn't.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to bring up bad memories, but I know you got nominated for some because I think that was me.
Yeah. All right.
Never mind.
Let's talk John Morant. If you've been with us, we've talked about this a little bit, but I want to bring up something. I guess we could have screen shared this, but I'm not screen sharing it. Gilbert Arenas. I don't know. If you saw Jared or if you saw Casey, the video, I think Gilbert Arenas has a podcast. He talked about his thing earlier today. So the reason, Jared, do you know the reason why people have been saying 50-game suspension?
Yeah, it's because Gilbert Arenas, I know he pulled a gun on Javaris Crittenton, and he was suspended for 50 games, I believe, back, when he was on the Wizards. I don't know what year, 2009 or something around that time. That's my understanding of it, and they're comparing it to Gilbert's situation.
Yes. So that is exactly right. The reason that we're talking a 50-game suspension is because everybody basically thinks that Gilbert Arenas got a 50-game suspension for gun-related stuff. Gilbert went and cleared it all up today on his podcast. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of wild, honestly. So here's what Gilbert Arenas says. All right. So as told by Gilbert Arenas, take it however you want it. So Gilbert Arenas says, I never, ever actually got suspended for anything gun related. So what he got suspended for was mentally unfit or a detriment to the team, essentially because of his behavior, because of his reaction to the media. But it was this big story, right? But when they were handing him with the 50-game suspension, essentially what David Stern told him was like, hey, it's going to be 50 games. And Gilbert Arenas pointed out two different situations where other players had been on a team bus, which is NBA property, with a loaded gun, and a team plane, which is NBA property, with a loaded gun, or the same player had been on a bus and then a plane 2 different times, and he got 2 games the first time and 3 games the second time. So Gilbert Arenas is saying like, hey, the established protocol here is that it's 2 games. This is my first offense with a gun on NBA property. It's 2 games, right? Like that's the established protocol. And he was essentially probably ready to go to the Players Association with that. So he was saying like, I'm not taking your 50-game suspension. And then David Stern said, you are going to take, this is according to Gil, you are going to take the 50-game suspension or I'm going to come after your contract. And so Gilbert Arenas was like, okay, well, I'm not going to fight the commissioner of the NBA. But yeah, so he just took that suspension and see you next season. That's what he says happened. But the official reasoning was actually like that he was mentally unfit. So that's kind of wild reaction to that. What does that mean for Ja? Do you think that, because what you were telling me earlier today, Denver isn't going to like press charge. Denver isn't going to pursue an investigation, the city of Denver.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. And I think for me personally, I definitely think like Ja, he'll be out for a while. But I think that's a David Stern thing because I'd heard an article as well from Carmelo Anthony this year where basically David Stern had told him during 2007, 2008, basically threatening him, like saying like, dude, we have like feds, like we are watching you. We know what you're doing. Like, and I think Adam Silver's a lot different, like the way he's gone about things, the way he's managed things. And so I could see a suspension, a pretty like decent, hefty suspension. But I don't think it's going to be as hard as David Stern kind of had a reputation for being like a hard nose, like it's my way or the highway. And I think Adam Silver's a lot different than that. That's how I think. I still think he'll be suspended probably most of the regular season, if not the whole postseason as well. But.
Yeah. I think that, yeah. And so responding to the chat there, Aaron, the thing we're talking about is Ja Morant. How long will the suspension be? Essentially, Gilbert Arenas came out today and said, look, a gun suspension isn't 50 games because I was actually technically suspended for something else. It just got so big in the media that they had to make it a big suspension. Felix asked what year it was. It was 2009, the Gilbert Arenas thing. Yeah. So you're saying David Stern had a reputation for being harder nosed or softer, Jared?
Yeah, I think harder nosed. Like he laid down the. I mean, he didn't even allow the CP3 trade. He vetoed it himself when that whole thing when he was traded to LA for Pau Gasol. And so, yeah. And then hearing Melo's story, I really don't think it'll be as hard. But I don't know. That being said, it's hard to say. Where Ja had the incident this summer with the 17-year-old, I think having multiple instances could make them have a situation where they might be like, hey, you need to get some help, like whether it be mentally or just, I don't know, all the situation. Maybe the team will suspend him. Maybe it'll be a commissioner thing. But I definitely think he'll be out probably most of the regular season, if not the whole regular season, and potentially postseason as well.
Okay. So you think he's done for the season, basically?
Well, it's considering the fact we have we have like a month left of regular season. I could see him just being out.
Do you think what I mean when I say he's going to be done for the season? So essentially, I think what happened to Gilbert Arenas is that it wasn't actually 50 games. It was like the rest of the season, including the postseason, and that ended up being 50 games.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but you think that's going to happen to Ja as well at this point?
I think for sure, probably the whole regular season. I don't know about postseason yet. I could see them figuring out a way. His jaw ones, if they're still supposed to drop in April, I could see. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day, and I could see Ja still, if he makes amends and things are okay, and he's seeming to be mentally like fine. I could see him getting in for the postseason, but I don't know. It's a tough situation, and it'll be interesting to see. The coach said it's going to be a long healing process. So it's kind of vague, but
the Grizzlies coach?
Yeah, he said it's going to be he's out indefinitely and it'll be a long healing process, but I don't know what that means.
What do you think the difference is between, like, is there a difference between this situation and the Ja situation and the Gilbert Arenas situation?
The biggest difference in my mind, and I mean, I'm not as closely following. I mean, the Gilbert Arenas situation is kind of more news to me, honestly.
Right.
But I'd say no matter what sport, no matter what activity, organization you're talking about. The big difference is social climate has changed a millionfold.
Interesting. Like around guns specifically, or
well, just around anything. Like social behavior is kind of, it's easier to, I mean, we have that whole waves of cancellations of people since that time, and people are way more trigger happy in canceling people based off of any kind of questionable activity these days. And I'm not saying he's getting outright canceled, but I think to meet that same precedent that was already set is kind of like where a lot of people like start the conversation. Maybe those were kind of like the Twitter warriors, but
yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they went that steep with it. And it kind of sounds to me like, based off what everybody's talking about, whether it's the organization who does it, I'm sure the league would prefer that, so they don't have to do that, guys. But if the team doesn't do it, sounds like maybe the league just will. They don't.
Well, do you think it's the team's responsibility? Like, do you think that Memphis is responsible to do anything about this?
I personally, I mean, my take on it, I don't even believe that that's how the league or the team should operate, but I just think that's how it will play out, kind of thing. But I think the team's best interest is the team's best interest. You got to sell tickets. You got to kind of try to walk that line, not go too far either way. I think the team doesn't want to overreact one way or the other. The league is a little bit harder pressed to like make a decision, I think, earlier.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I think the team could do a slap on the wrist kind of thing, and most people go like, okay, like they did something. It's up to the league to do something bigger if they want to.
Yeah.
And the league is harder pressed to make that like big decision.
I don't think it's on the team to do anything at all. I wish we wouldn't do that, honestly.
Me too.
Like as a sports, like even with this goes back to the Tua Tagovailoa big. Did I have it right?
Tongue of folding chair.
Yeah, Tua tongue of folding chair.
Like Tongue of Iloa for anybody.
Tongue of Iloa. Okay, so like this goes back to that because like I kind of wanted us. I'm like, I wish we as a people would absolve the Dolphins a little bit and say like, the Dolphins, like what you're supposed to do as a team is follow the protocol and then act in your best interest, which is to play it, right? And like not have this like extra thing. But then some of the players came out and said like, I had coaches that protected me from myself and stuff like that. Okay, look, maybe I don't have the inside knowledge that the player has, and maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm willing to admit that, but like, I do wish we as fans wouldn't put so much responsibility on the team. In this circumstance, I think responsibilities on City of Denver, NBA, and the Memphis Grizzlies are like, the Memphis Grizzlies should be like, we got Jaws back. When can he play? We want him to play. Okay. We're not going to like go out of our way to punish him or do anything about this. Jared, your take on that.
Right. Yeah, I 100% agree with you guys. I think at the end of the day, it's a business. And like you said, the team, the Grizzlies, for example, they have to act in their best interest, which is play jaw. They're trying to win championships. That's their goal. That being said, and obviously I don't agree with the things he's done, but I mean, it's a little different. He didn't pull a gun on his teammate, so I wouldn't say he's being a threat to his team. He's just making poor decisions out in the public. And that's where I think you if I'm the Grizzlies, I play him if there's no like constraints. You give it up to the league. They're the ones that have the brand, the image that they're, and it's up to them, you know, how they want that to be seen and how they want to suspend him. But I 100% agree with making it a league decision rather than a team decision.
So just to bring it back to John's point, I actually do think it's kind of apples and oranges to the Tua thing because it's kind of about player safety and different issues. But the kind of consensus is that there was a near miss by the Dolphins in handling it, maybe being too aggressive, putting Tua back in the lineup. But I think the consensus now would be because they rebounded hard the other way, went super conservative, and I think just about every NFL fan
didn't like that.
Oh well, no, they do like it. They appreciate that they were. Player safety was first and foremost. If anything, there were a few people who wish they would have forced him back in, but that's the minority.
Yeah. So, hop in the chat. Let us know what you think about this whole thing. You know, like how long should the NBA make an example of? So I want to hit on a few more things, and then we're gonna hop into an NBA gift card giveaway wheel spin in a second. If you haven't hopped into the chat, make sure you hop into the chat so that you can get in on that gift card giveaway. But Felix said something. This is all like kind of in a row, and it leads to a question that I want to ask. So they were probably mad about Gilbert. Jared said the story of he pulled a gun on a teammate. It was an unloaded gun, according to Gilbert. He pulled a gun on the teammate. That teammate also got suspended for that same number of games or whatever. So like there's some kind of backstory there, but like the public narrative was Gilbert Arenas pulled a gun on a teammate, right? Like he's a thug, right? They rely more on Jaws face for NBA revenue. I want your take on that, Jared, because Gilbert Arenas was a big deal in 2009. Like he was one of the dudes. And then Casey, I want your thoughts on this. Does it matter how big of a role model they are? So, Jared, you go first. Do they rely more on Ja's face for revenue now than they did for Gilbert Arenas back in 2009?
Right. And I think it's a close one because, yeah, people that were, our casuals might not realize that. I mean, Gilbert Arenas was like legit. He was on NBA Live, the cover. He was an all-star. He was legit.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think that it's a bigger deal because Ja now with his new Nike deal, I mean, he's the heir to Kyrie Irving, is like the point guard of Nike. And it literally just dropped. And with that and the Grizzlies like being a hot top team in the West, I do think it's a bigger deal. And I think with Ja, like how much revenue and how much like excitement he does bring, I think that's going to make a huge factor into the decision. And like as much as you want to say it or don't want to say it, it's a business. And like, of course, they're going to need to do what's good and potentially suspend him and stuff. But the quicker they get Ja on the court, I mean, think of how many people in Memphis might not go to a game because Ja's not playing. But if he's playing, they're going to games. It's a business at the end of the day. And so I'll be curious to see, but I think the quicker they can get him on the court is what they're going to do because he's huge for NBA.
They make their most money during playoff basketball. That and so if Ja's out during the playoffs, that definitely hurts their revenue making capability.
Right.
So essentially, your take is that like Ja's superstardom bails him out a little bit here, maybe more than it would if this happened to someone who wasn't a superstar. Casey, your take on that, and should it matter that he's how big of a role model they are?
Yeah. Key point right before that, different from the NFL, as far as I know, no revenue sharing between NBA teams, not the same amount at least. Where NFL revenue is kind of shared across the teams. Mm-hmm. So the league is already kind of taking that into consideration. Different in this situation because the Grizzlies would be more concerned with that than the league itself.
Right.
The league goes, sucks for you. Grizzlies go, no, it doesn't. We're not going to suspend him. Anyway, does it matter if he's a role model? Well, I mean, undoubtedly, Ja is a role model to some people.
Sure.
Does it matter in this? The answer is yes. My perspective is it should not. And you can call that a hot take if you want. I have never been on board with like athletes or role models to certain people because like they are not trained to be that. They are trained to be good at their sport, first and foremost. Sometimes upon arriving in the league, maybe not even that, I would say more like arriving like superstardom is where they get this other thing put on them.
Yeah, this mantle that's like very nebulous and hard for them to define, and like what does it mean to be a good
boy?
Yeah. And like this person's consideration of what's a good role model and this person's are different. Like, what if I actually don't do anything stupid, but you don't like that I whine all the time for fouls, and so you think I'm a bad role model. Like, it is very
exactly. It's kind of a slippery slope. You definitely don't want them like legislating stuff like that. But that said, they're undoubtedly going to do that.
Yeah.
Because the leagues, especially, if not the teams, again, in the NFL, the teams kind of take control of it a little bit more because they're concerned with their image to some degree because they're getting the revenue split no matter what.
Yeah.
But the league in the NBA, to my knowledge, is going to care a little bit more about the image of all of its teams and the whole league in general. So are they going to do something that I don't like? My take is they probably will go – they'll go harsh. I'm on the harsh side of what they'll probably do.
Yeah. So, well, and you said the other day that you're actually like okay with like the make an example type punishment.
Yeah.
You think that they should do that here, and so you both think that they will do that and that they should do that here?
And also that they shouldn't do it. I'll fully speak out of both sides of my mouth.
Okay.
I think they will do it, but maybe for the wrong reasons. I think the league should keep control. You know what I mean? I'm all for making an example of a guy, maybe because he's a superstar. You did call me out on that one because we did go live last night and I talked about that.
Yeah.
I get the league wanting to keep control and not losing, because once you let superstars get away with stuff that you wouldn't let other guys get away with, that is a slippery slope as well. So I'm all for the league taking control of the situation, making an example. Although I wouldn't necessarily say that this is one of those situations where you have to make the guy an example based on what happened.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm speaking out of both sides, but I think not at the same time.
Yeah. Jared, anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, I think just something to touch back on the point you'd mentioned with it, it's a little bit different, like depending on how good of a player you are and different criteria. One example that comes to my mind is, So Myers Leonard and Kyrie Irving, they both at a point had made an anti-Semitic comment. And it's interesting how Kyrie Irving was back on the court within weeks. Myers Leonard just barely 2 years later got like his first workout with an NBA team. And it's because, I mean, what's the difference? They both made an anti-Semitic comment, but Kyrie Irving is box office. And so it kind of goes under the rug. And so I think it's a situation where he's so box office that
we're going to move on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think, what was Myers? Was Myers Leonard's comment worse though, too? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it was worse, definitely. And that's possibly part of it as well. But he just signed a huge deal. And I don't know. I can't speak for the NBA. But if a LeBron or a Ja had done something like that, would there have been a big, like getting him out of the league? Or would it have just been a slap on the wrist? I don't know. I can't speak for them.
I don't think they'd push LeBron out of the league for
exactly.
They'd do some really public thing like like they did with Kyrie, sensitivity training, and Joe Tsai has to feel your repentant or whatever the word they used was.
But at the end of the day, you want him back on the court.
Yes,
I look at it like this: like, how does it impact potential future things that are similar to this? If Luka and Christian Wood, this is two random players I grabbed of different caliber on, that you can compare. If they both have anti-Semitic things they want to say now, who do you think is going to be more prone to be tight-lipped about it?
Right.
That's all you need to know. I mean, Luka's going to feel like he can kind of do what he wants a little bit more based off of what the NBA's done.
Luka's like a what? I don't even know what I said. I don't think.
I mean, Luka's a great guy. So is Christian Wood.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. I think we're ready for a giveaway, right? Can you take this? Boy. Can you take the screen or what?
Yeah, bro. Not where you at? Matt's coming.
Hey, you got us.
All
right. So if you see your name on the wheel, we are about to spin it, and whoever it lands on is going to win a $25 NBA Shop gift card. If you do not see your name on the wheel, it's because you haven't chatted. So get in that live chat and tell us your shoe size. I don't know why. We're not giving you shoes, but
all right. Now it's not shoe size. Now if you haven't done it, you got to tell me your favorite flavor of gum.
Yeah, favorite flavor of gum.
Otherwise, you don't make the wheel.
That's better than shoe size. And if we don't like your favorite flavor of gum, then you also don't make it. No, I'm just kidding.
Matt, full screen for us, then spin that wheel, bro.
If your favorite flavor of gum is freaking cinnamon or something like that.
Yeah. What happened to Juicy Fruit? Was it always terrible, or did I just...
I think it was always pretty bad. It lasts for like 30 seconds.
Seems good as
Here we go. Arby's roast beef sandwich. You got one.
He's on that roast beef. I've made questionable. Suspend me for a couple episodes.
Weird decisions were made in the making of that joke.
You're just way too much. I don't know. They're running out of jokes. Great job participating in the chat. Make sure to email us at triplecrosspodcast@gmail.com. You know the drill, obviously. For anybody else who wins, that's how you claim your prizes. We like to give away prizes, guys. We're all about the giving spirit. It's Thanksgiving every day at the Triple Cross Podcast.
Yeah. I eat like it is, at least.
Turkey's delicious.
I'm more of a ham man.
Jared, favorite deli meat?
Man, it's like a 50-50 between turkey and ham. I was turkey as a kid, then ham's grown up. I split it on the sandwich.
What's the big difference? What's the deciding factor? Like, when do you like turkey? When do you like ham? What is it? What's the matter?
So it's hard. Turkey, I feel like mentally, I'm like, oh, it's healthier, so turkey. But then ham, I'm like, oh man, it just hits different. So
all right.
It just tastes better. Jared does determine his favorite foods based on health level.
Okay.
He's one of those people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with like the sushi thing and be like, all right, so who's the healthy alternative like superstar in the NBA?
Who's the ham of the NBA?
Yeah, who's the ham?
And who's the healthy alternative?
Give me the healthy alternative.
Yeah, who would be the ham?
Ooh, I got it.
Okay.
I got this.
Who's the ham?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Might be the ham.
Go ahead. No, you got one, Jared, or what?
No, you go for it. I'm thinking.
So the ham of the NBA is either like Kyrie or Russell Westbrook. Mainly because it's like, they could be tasty, but there's got to be a healthy alternative to them.
So we toss Ja in that now.
The healthy, maybe like Ja. The healthy alternative is probably like a Chris Paul or like a Mike Conley. It's like they're safe.
All right.
I could eat that point guard.
Yeah.
Nothing bad will happen to me.
I don't know that they're on the same caliber. Jared said they're like neck and neck to him, so you need like, I don't know. Maybe they are.
Flavor wise, they're not neck and neck to you. Jared legitimately makes favorite foods based on how healthy they are.
All right.
What he just said was he likes. I'm going to translate Jared speak for you and tell you he likes ham way better. but he gets on turkey kicks because he's like, it's healthier.
Jared, that's no way to live, and you need to get some like salami.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, I like
all
the
the
taste.
Italian meats, basically
Yeah.
like pastrami, salami. What else?
Yeah.
Those
Pepperoni.
Yeah, that's all the
It's
ones that are
true.
mostly fat. You get all your fat macros in one meal.
Yeah, it's true. Some turkey's good though. Neaters, man, shout out. Their turkey is unmatched.
Hey, they
Love
don't
it.
sponsor the show, so we're cutting that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, never again.
Not a sponsor. Not an ad.
Not an ad.
All right, Roseby, our winner actually just chatted something in. She said the players have to remember. Maybe I can do it. Yeah, the players have to remember they will always be in the public eye, no matter where they are / what they're doing and who they gather with. You know what? Chris Paul said something the other day, not the other day, like a couple months ago on JJ Redick's podcast, where he said, he talked about being a villain, or maybe this wasn't Chris Paul, maybe it was somebody else, but he talked about being a villain in the league. And he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with being a villain? You know, like, this is entertainment. And he called it that. I think a lot of players don't call it that. You know what I mean? Like, this is serious, this is whatever. He said, this is an entertainment. We're entertainers. There's going to be good guys. There's got to be bad guys. Right?
You need to heal.
Right. And so I think that, Rose, you're not off. It's like, there's going to be, you're going to be an entertainer and everything that comes with that. And yes, Ja is young. How old is he, Jared? Is he 21 or 20?
I think he's like 20.
He's younger than you.
Or 23 now. Yeah, I think. Let me look up his age.
Maybe he's not younger than you.
I think he's my age, 23. Yeah.
But so I get it. Yeah, people do dumb stuff when they're 23, but you wouldn't see Jared. Yeah, you wouldn't see Jared waving a gun around in the club.
Yeah,
he's just out there eating turkey cutlets.
Felix thinks that he should get sponsored by Athletic Greens, which I mean, Jared, let's hit him up. I think you'd be a great fit for that. Athletic Greens, let us know.
Yeah,
I mean,
do you want to sponsor exclusively Jared?
Yeah,
because I know they don't want to sponsor me.
I mean, hey, In His Bag podcast, free promo. Yeah.
In His Bag, yeah, there you go. Oh, that is true. I do want to promote Jared. He has another podcast called In His Bag that he does with his brother, and you guys should check it out. It's on Spotify.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro.
They do weird like old stuff though. Like you guys do like 2008.
Yeah,
NBA
we love
All-Star.
We love history. Yeah, we love NBA history. So you got to be a historian, but it's great. I appreciate.
Maybe you guys could revisit the Gilbert Arenas situation.
Yeah. What happens in the 2009 playoffs if Gilbert Arenas doesn't get suspended? Anything different? Probably nothing different.
Nah, I think LeBron or Dwight knocks him out, but hey, maybe not.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we want to talk about, Jared? The West the West shifted. Your Lakers, where are they? 10?
Yeah, they're 9 now.
Hey,
so officially in the play-in.
The Lakers are in the playoffs, the play-in for the first time all season, right?
Right. Yeah, first time all season, at least since the.
And the Jazz are out for the first time all season.
Yep, it's a win-win. Jazz will get a high pick. Lakers go in the play-in, ride in the sunset.
Yeah. So
John didn't like that as much as you did.
I didn't feel like it was a win-win. My feelings are not the same. But hey, good job to the Lakers. So yeah, as I'm looking at the West, what do you think about Dame and the Blazers? Like, are they gonna grab one of those 10 spots? Because right now, as I'm looking at this, what you have 1 through 9 right now is Nuggets, Kings, Grizzlies, Suns. They're all locked. Mavericks locked.
Right.
Warriors, I think they're gonna hold at 6. Timberwolves, they might drop up or down, but they're essentially 2 games out of like not being in the playoffs. And I think they might hold that spot especially with Mike Conley. It's just like he brings such maturity to the team. Clippers, I think they'll hold a spot. Lakers, and then Pelicans, and then in 11, 12, 13 all tied. Actually, 10, 11, 12, 12 all tied, and then 13, 1 half game back is Pelicans, Thunder, Blazers, Jazz. So out of those 4, Pelicans, Thunder, Blazers, Jazz, and I guess you could throw Lakers, Clippers, and Timberwolves into that. Who do you think is going to drop out?
Yeah, I think I hate going against Dame because he's such a killer. He's so good. But I think the Blazers, I don't think they're going to make it. And so I think currently as is, because you said the Pelicans are the 10th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Pelicans are currently the 10th, yeah. They're
the 10th, yeah.
tied for – so 10th, 11th, 12th is all tied.
Okay, yeah, right. I think the Pelicans are going to get it, personally. If not them, it'll be the Blazers for sure. I don't think the Thunder are going to get the spot. So it's going to be a neck and neck. I
Really?
think. Yeah, I don't think the Thunder are going to get the spot.
I think the Thunder are cooking, though.
Yeah,
The Thunder been cooking lately, dude.
They've been cooking.
Yeah,
they've been
the
cooking.
Oklahoma City Gilgeous Alexander have been doing really well lately.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole
and that's no shade
the whole
on them.
team person.
No, it's true, and it's the same with Dave. Like, there's no shade on him. I just, man, and maybe it's bias. I want the Pelicans. I want to see Zion healthy for the playoffs, but I do think the Pelicans. I mean, Brandon Ingram's back there. I just think they'll hold on to the spot, but it's so close that it's a tough one. I think Blazers are going to be on that 11, and then I have Thunder as the 12.
I want to interrupt real quick.
Yeah,
you're like between last night and today, you're hot on the Thunder right now. I want to know when they get Holmgren back. Like, and I know it's skipping the next season, but like, what's their potential ceiling?
I can't make a read on Holmgren
potential.
yet.
Get out there. Give me a hot take, John. What's the potential?
Yeah. All right.
Could they finish in the standings next year? Could they finish the top?
Giddey will be a year better. We don't know what Giddey does during the offseason, but I'm gonna assume he's a hard worker. I'm gonna assume that he develops his game in the offseason. So he'll be a year better. If they do not make the playoffs this year, they get a high pick, right? And then they have Chet Holmgren. And let's say best case scenario for Chet Holmgren is that he has kind of a Walker Kessler type year. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's a best case scenario for Chet Holmgren, Jared, or do you think he could be better than that?
I think he could be better than that, but
yeah,
I don't know. First year, I think that's a good comparison. Like, I don't think he's gonna be anything crazy.
Yeah, right. So especially on that team, it's not like there's going to be touches to go around on that team like there is on the Magic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or there was on the Kings for Halliburton or anything like that, right? So, yes, in that scenario, looking at who else we have in the West, I could see them being
second behind the Warriors.
No.
Come on.
Assuming everybody's healthy all season, I think they're still worse than the Nuggets. They're still worse than the Kings. Well, no, I actually think they're about as good as everybody healthy all season. That's why the Kings are so high. It's because they've been healthy. So everybody healthy all season. They're still worse than the Nuggets. I'd actually comp them to the Grizzlies.
Wow.
Yeah. With everything plays out because best case scenario, Chet Holmgren has Walker Kessler type abilities. That's on his way to Jaren Jackson Jr. type abilities, or it's there, right? Like that's in that zone. That's like Walker Kessler as a rookie. I think Walker Kessler might be having a better rookie campaign than JJJ did. So, yeah, like assuming that Chet Holmgren can do that, they get another high pick. Giddey works on his game in the offseason and he's even better. SGA, I think, is a comp to Ja, honestly.
Yeah.
In terms of capability, I don't know, Jared, your take on that?
Yeah, no, I actually like that comparison a lot. My only worry, I love it. My only worry is defensively. Chet, and I know everybody says this, it's like cliche.
Chet is small.
He could be a little bit better like JJJ, like bigger, bulkier. But again, he's different, and he can stretch the floor. And I think that's a good comparison for sure. A playoff team next year if healthy.
He's been not playing basketball for a whole season now. He could have been eating ham this whole time.
Let's go.
Yeah, right.
No turkey on that diet.
Yeah, he's no turkey, and he's just all bulked up, filled out now, and he's ready to bang.
No, you're right. And here's what I'll say. And not obviously Ben Simmons, he's taking a spiral now. But Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin, these guys that did have that full year in the league, I think it helped them. They came in, they both won Rookie of the Year. They were dominant because they had a year to get used to the grind of the league and the schedule.
On Ben Simmons, Rookie of the Year, that was
and I know Donovan, but if you look at the numbers, they were a playoff team and he was good. And I know Donovan was probably as equally deserving, but dude, I'll go to my grave. Ben Simmons was a beast his first couple of years. He was
he was like a 14. He was like a 14 and 14 guy. I wouldn't call him the next LeBron. He wasn't that good of a scorer. He wasn't as good of a scorer,
but like he
would give you 14 and 14.
Yeah, and he'd get you rebounds too. Like he was the man. It's sad what's happened to him because he was the man.
Yeah. So I think they could be in Grizzlies territory. I think that both the Grizzlies and the Kings could be better than both the Grizzlies and the Thunder could be better than the Kings. I think the Suns are still better than them. I don't know what Kyrie will do in the offseason with the Mavs, but if he goes to the Lakers instantly become a top contender with the Suns. Nuggets will remain steady. And then Clippers, you never know what are any of the whose contracts up on the Clippers this year? Anybody?
I know Westbrook's, but that's not a big issue. I think Kawhi and Paul are still locked in. I don't know about Zubac, but I think most of the guys are locked in, besides, of course, Russ, which I think they'll frankly be happy he's gone. I'd say that again.
And then Warriors. So yeah, I think we could be looking at a top 6 next year of Nuggets, Suns. I'm going to question mark the Mavericks, put them in parentheses, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, and then Thunder / Grizzlies / Kings if the Mavericks don't take a spot.
Yeah.
So in the chat here, Sal Vittori. Shout out to Sal. Let us know if you're new. We haven't seen you around before. Let us know if you're new. Good to have you here. I'm worried about Ja. I mean, I think that's the main thing. When we're like, I don't know. I guess Casey, you're kind of like 4. Like, we can be a little harsher on him. Let's do that, right? Like, maybe that's what he needs.
Yeah. Just as a precedent for the league to its superstars, not so much because of maybe the incident itself. Can't let the superstars run the league, man. And I mean, coming from like the NFL,
they do.
Like the NBA,
they do. I don't think you're going to stop that.
The NBA already does. So I mean, you can't let it get worse. Right?
It's only going to get worse for the league.
Can't let it get worse at a faster rate.
Right.
Than,
try and control the wildfire.
Right,
I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take some tips from the NFL. Just don't let them do it. Like it's a whole other atmosphere over there.
All right, Jared, talk to me about the Knicks, guy.
Dude,
these guys were on a 10-game, 11-game win streak. I mean, Charlotte, of all teams to snap the win streak.
Right, I know.
To go to freaking the Hornets.
That would happen.
Like Scary Terry and company over there. But
6 starter jackets.
But they did have the best 90s starter jackets.
Leading the league in starter jackets.
Yes.
It tells you the presence Michael Jordan still has over them. Just Michael Jordan haunts the Knicks to this day.
Michael Jordan's like Aaron Rodgers to the Bears.
Yeah.
I own you.
Yeah.
49ers to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I don't know. That was a crappy way to end it, but dude, that streak, they beat Boston twice during that win streak, and the last time just grinding. I mean, I talked about this on our live last night or whatever, but the last time they beat them, just friggin' grinding. They just wouldn't. The Knicks, man, I'm kind of into them. They're just one of those teams that won't go away. You know what I mean? They're just tough and gritty, and that's the best. When the Knicks are at their best, that's the kind of when the organization is at its best. That is the kind of basketball the Knicks play.
Just for context, I had to look it up. Did you know the win streak record?
I did not know the win streak record. Jared, do you know the win streak record?
I don't know.
71-72. Lakers had 33 straight wins.
Wow. Dang. That's crazy.
I thought it was a lot of wins. That is a lot of wins.
Interesting.
What's that?
I thought it was the Heat in 12-13. They had like a 25 or 26 game, but I didn't realize. Yeah, the 72 Lakers.
I kind of would have thought maybe like the Celtics back when they just never lost games.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Felix said Luke is a better poster boy for the NBA than Ja.
Agreed.
So that's interesting because we're actually getting into an era now when LeBron leaves the league. Jared, who is the new NBA poster boy?
Oh man, this is something I've been thinking a lot about. It's hard because who's the best player at that point? In my opinion, it's Giannis. In my opinion, Giannis is the best player in the world right now. But I don't know if he is the poster boy. That's the thing. Like, he's the best player, but I'd still probably say Giannis. But I don't know. It's hard to say because
who else is in contention? Who are the other contenders?
So Luka is in contention. And in my opinion, Tatum's a sleeper. If they can win a championship in Boston, but really, I think it's mostly Luka and Giannis at this point that clearly in my mind.
Gameplay aside, who's the best? Like, who's the most well spoken? Because immediately I go to my NFL. Tom Brady, Golden Boy for decades.
Right.
Clear passing the torch to the most obvious candidate, Patrick Mahomes. Both great players, phenomenal, probably the best player in the league. At the height of their careers, but also both very well spoken. The image you want, and passing it off to a young guy like Mahomes, I think is big too. Tom Brady wouldn't pass it off to a guy like Aaron Rodgers. 2 years behind him.
Luka's the youngest of who Jared just said. Oh, actually, Tatum. Luka's younger than Tatum by a year. Snub for the soon-to-be 3-time MVP. That was the other person I was thinking is the Joker. But the Joker isn't as well-spoken as Luka or
It
Giannis.
matters, right? I mean,
but who did we just say? We just said 4 people, right?
Sure.
Luka, Giannis, Jokic, Tatum. 75% chance that for the first time in NBA history, the poster child of the NBA is not American.
Right.
So it's interesting when you say well-spoken. All of them are well-spoken. They speak good English and everything.
That's not really what I mean, but
right.
I mean like
the
image.
Right. Yeah. It's a little different. That is like we now are an image that our main image person is an international player.
It seems to me like the NBA would welcome the opportunity to have an international poster boy, though.
I wonder. I mean, I think personally that the league would cheer for Tatum to take the mantle.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Jared, thoughts?
See, I'm mixed because while I do agree with that, the NBA is also having such a push globally because they just started the NBA Africa games. They have games out. So I also could see them using this as an opportunity, like you said, Casey, to be like, okay, Giannis, people already love you. He's already well-spoken. And he's a guy that's been in Milwaukee. He's won a championship with the team that drafted him. It's almost like a fairy tale kind of a story that I think they could use that to boom, push out, because that appeals to Africa and Europe because he's Nigerian, but he grew up in Greece. And so it kind of appeals to everybody, but Milwaukee, he's beloved. And so I do think if Tatum was good enough, they would maybe push to keep it, American, but otherwise I think it's Giannis at this point to lose, in my opinion.
Felix says Asia needs a new MJ. Cool, random comment, but Felix, we love you.
All the continents need a new MJ.
So Giannis is big on, he tries to be really funny.
Sure.
Yeah, he's big on he does lots of dad jokes and stuff like that, and he his trash talk's super weird, but kind of funny. I think there's a story that who was it? James Harden. Somebody came in in Milwaukee, and Giannis wasn't playing that night, and they were like, "Oh, you didn't want to you heard it, whoever's the star on their team wasn't load managing that night. He was playing. He's like, oh, you didn't want any of that smoke, huh, Giannis?" And he's like, "Hey, no rings, no talk." Dwight Howard is the MJ of Asia right now. That's facts. Dwight Howard is just reviving the career in China.
I got one on poster boy real quick.
Yeah,
coming from a guy like LeBron, I think that matters too. Same thing with Tom Brady and Mahomes thing. Kind of a natural passing the torch there. Do you have to be a certain archetype of player to take the torch from LeBron? A kind of do it all guy.
So the person who probably had the mantle before LeBron would probably be Kobe, I would say.
Okay.
So no. Or MJ, no.
But is
pretty
LeBron
pure scorers.
More of a complete player?
Is that what the league wants?
That's what I mean. Exactly.
No, I think the league wants who is any basketball fan going to look at, recognize, and be they're an incredible basketball player. So for a while in about 2017, 2018, I thought it was going to be James Harden. Because he has such a recognizable look and all that stuff. But yeah, he just has fallen off.
I also feel like there's some just Harden haters out there. Maybe that's just
there's LeBron haters out there.
But yeah, you qualify for both. Kind of.
There's LeBron haters out there. There were Kobe haters. There were Jordan haters. Yeah,
that's true.
I think it qualified for all of those. I think I just generally hate the poster boy.
You did not hate MJ when he was the poster boy. Only because you're a Utah.
Yeah. Okay, Jared. I got one more topic that I want to hit on, and then I want to.
What about Curry?
Yeah.
Curry.
So, okay, that's a good one. Let's hit it. What about Curry for poster boy? I think Curry would be the ideal poster boy. It's just that he's not. It's what you said. He's already 34.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, we're only going to get like 2 years of this guy for poster boy, and then we're going to have to find another one.
I'd love it, August, but that's exactly I agree completely.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is a world though too where there is a void for a little bit where like nobody demands that like this guy is the NBA. That because it's been a succession. So that's why we're asking the question, because it's been this succession where it went like from Jordan to Kobe to LeBron, but really from about 98 to 2001, there was a little bit of a void where there like wasn't that person. It was like, is it going to be Shaq? Is it going to be Chuck? Is it like there was that kind of for a minute? So there could be a void for a minute.
Let me throw a monkey wrench on this. Wemby?
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility too. That's a possibility.
Can't forget about that guy. Maybe that's like LeBron isn't done. You know,
Right.
like
Maybe
he'll be the guy until he's gone. You know what I mean? He's got a full blown retire. He could have terrible season after terrible season after terrible season if he keeps playing forever. He's the poster boy.
You want to hear my LeBron James hot take on this?
Yeah.
Can I do a LeBron impression? I don't know.
No. I advise against it.
Yeah. I've never practiced it before, so I'm not going to try it for the first time right now. My LeBron James, if I'm LeBron James, my opinion is I'm going to be the poster boy until Bronny's the poster boy.
Never going to happen.
Which is a horrible take. But whoever becomes the poster boy next, we can all be confident that LeBron James already knew it beforehand. Like he called it. He definitely called it ahead of time. So last thing I want to talk about, Luka. So Felix said Luka because you can easily cheer for him to win a ring against all odds. I mean, you definitely can, Felix. That's true.
I don't know if Kyrie helps Luka's odds of being the next poster boy.
Well, Kyrie might not stay with the Mavs.
I don't know that. I think the damage.
You're just infected.
I don't know. Maybe you never know.
Kyrie's like the Black Plague. He just like wherever he goes, it's like everyone's infected now.
Back to the job thing. It's a fickle thing when you get into like the social standing of players. Because I mean, I think we all at least agree that it is not just about gameplay. Who the poster boy is.
Kyrie could be the next villain for sure. Ooh, that's a better one. Who's the next like big villain of the NBA?
Wait, who's the current one?
Who's the current big villain of the NBA? And then who's the next one? Jared, to you.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the villain was now he's not in playoff contention, but it was Trae Young. He was the villain, man. Like when the whole Knicks series, they like painted him to be like the horrible guy. But right now, the thing is probably KD because a lot of people just don't like KD. But I don't know. He's not really a villain.
Kyrie's probably the closest thing to a villain.
Yeah. I'd probably say because he's just pissed off so many franchises.
I would love to see like the Knicks just play the villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
man, they've been trying to get back into good favor. Like this last
that's
thing
the thing.
they do.
Their fan base loves that like blue collar, hard nosed. We're gonna fight
Only
basketball.
because their fan base has never had a good team to
They love even when they have good teams. That's what the style that they liked, right? Like, and then I don't know. I would love to see like Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle just be like, we're the next like supervillain overlords of the NBA.
I think the Grizzlies, though, if you look at a team, they're
that's true.
Villain. They're definitely the villains. Because they're trying to be the villains. Like Dylan Brooks is like literally trying to be that guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're like we're gonna kneecap Shannon Sharp out here. Just okay, but this is what I want to talk to you about. Book will become the villain. August says that'd be a good villain. Book's just like not outspoken enough. I feel like you know. You kind of have to be willing to say some stupid crap to be the villain of the NBA.
Right.
So did you catch the JJ Redick Kendrick Perkins stuff earlier this week and kind of into last week a little bit?
Yeah, I watched it live and I was like, wow, I was shocked. It got pretty tense,
Let me recap, and I'm going to try to recap as neutrally as possible. Hold up your hand if you think I'm being inaccurate or not neutral. Okay. So Kendrick Perkins, did it start with Kendrick or JJ? It started with Kendrick Perkins saying something, and then JJ responded the next day on First Take. So what did Kendrick start with?
So I didn't hear the initial comment, so I can't say like word for word, but basically
he said Joel Embiid should be the MVP candidate, not Jokic. Right. This is what he said.
Race. It was a race thing, yeah.
He said there have been since 1990 there have been 4 guys who won MVP without being in the top 10 in the league in scoring. And those 4 are Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Jokic, and who else was the 4th one?
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
I can't remember who the 4th one was. But there's been 4, and those were 3 of them. And first of all, he is making some assumptions there. He would be assuming that Jokic won this year, and he's outside the top 10 in scoring. And he's also not giving Dirk. Dirk was tied for 10th in scoring, so he was 11th on the list, but he was tied for 10th. And all Perk said was, "What do all those guys have in common?" Right, that was what he said. What do all those guys have in common? There was one more who was also white. So it was Larry Bird. No, it wasn't Larry Bird. Who was it?
I was gonna say like double doubles.
No, it was somebody else who was white.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna go there.
Yeah. Well, it was like so he did that. He said that, and then basically JJ Redick said like that implication is ridiculous. That you're implying that the white voters vote for the white players. And Perk kind of did this thing like whoa, like I didn't. That's not what I did at all. Which was like, yeah, all he said was like, what do all those guys have in common? He implied, which to me, I feel like the implication was clear. JJ Redick felt like the implication was clear. And when Perk kind of did the hands up thing, JJ was like, don't do that. Like, yeah, he was.
Own your, you know what you were.
You know what you were.
What did you mean then?
You know what you were saying. Yeah, and he didn't. So JJ Redick even said like you conveniently went to 1990 instead of 1989 when Magic Johnson won the MVP, not being in the top 10 in scoring, and just different stuff like that. So I don't know. Did I state that those facts unbiasedly and accurately in your opinion, Jared?
Yeah, 100%. That's okay. What went down.
And then they've been kind of going back and forth about it. But some players chimed in. So I actually, because when I first heard it, and this is maybe, my white privilege coming through or whatever, right? When I first heard it, I was with JJ. I was like, number one, if you're going to say that, own it. Number two, that's ridiculous. That's the last thing I would think of as an MVP voter, which is exactly what August said here. Last thing I would think of as an MVP voter, I would just be trying to, assess who was the MVP that year. But some other former players or Black and analysts have chimed in on this, and I think worded what Perk meant in a better way than he did, or like in a more, they like clarified it in a way that I was like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. And what one of them said was, nobody is more critical of white players than white analysts are hypercritical of white players, but when white players are really good, they're almost, it's like extreme. Like they're either hypercritical of them, but then when they're really good, it's almost like they're like, yeah, like it's like this great white hope. They don't say it like that, but there's like this great white hope kind of vibe, or there's this like, oh, that guy's really, really good. They like almost over index on like how good they are.
He's the next Larry Bird.
And so yeah. And he said there has been this feeling amongst Black players in the league. And actually, what it started as was Kendrick Perkins accusing Jokic of stat padding, and then JJ saying he's not stat padding. Believe it or not, he doesn't care about the MVP. He cares about winning championships.
That's how it plays the game.
Right.
It plays different than anybody else in the league.
So and like Perkins was saying, like, have you noticed that anytime he passes, they shoot it, whether it's a good shot or not, or just things like that, right?
Maybe he's a great passer. I don't know. Maybe you just give the guys flowers.
Yeah, and I think he maybe pointed out some numbers around that. I don't want to pull it up, but yeah, like it's I think he pointed out some numbers about like his shot volume has gone down, his passing volume has gone up, and shooting off his passing volume has gone up as well. Like as if they kind of knew, oh, he's almost averaging a double-double, like let's get him over the edge. Yeah. And yeah, so Perk started by accusing him of stat padding. JJ said that's ridiculous, and then Perk brought up this kind of thing, and then JJ also said that was ridiculous. And this was the thing that I loved about it from JJ's standpoint, is he broke the fourth wall of like sports talk shows, and he said, I feel very blessed to be here. I love being on here every day, but this is the problem with this show, is that we create these false narratives that are harmful, right? And it's Stephen A's first take, Stephen A's show.
I mean, right? That show? You mean all of sports media?
I think. I mean, he was saying that he said the problem with this show quotes, which was like super. I think ESPN might be out on JJ Redick after his contract's up, because it's like, that's like the thing. It's like, yeah, we got to talk about sports all the time. Sometimes we got to create some narratives, because sometimes we got to get a little hot takey. Don't break the fourth wall and tell everybody that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? But JJ Redick's used to podcasting, which is this like more, genuine format, right?
This is what I love about podcasting.
Yeah.
These players get their platform like never before, way better than social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm high on podcasting in general, because how many tweets have we seen that get taken out of context?
Right.
Like, the list goes on and on. But when you go on a long form podcast, the way that like JJ Redick does on the regular, how that guy thinks, and when he says something like that, that's his honest opinion, and I love him for it, man. Like, JJ does speak facts, just like Andrew Romero.
Yeah, Andrew. I like JJ Redick a lot. He's a great analyst. He's a great but yeah, Jared. Here's what I'm actually going to ask you to do, Jared. I'm going to give you the hard job here, because you might just agree. Give me the opposite POV. Like, tell me, like, all right, look, if JJ's wrong, like, give me the counter argument here. I'm going to make you be the high school debate state champion that you are.
Yeah,
I just made that.
No.
I just made that up. But
No.
let's just pretend it's true. Everybody, Jared won state in debate in high school, so now he's going to take the counter opinion.
You know that, Jared? Congrats, dude.
Yeah.
Nice job, bro.
That was like last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last
I lost
year
my plaque, man.
he was a child. He was a child prodigy. He won it last year when he was a freshman. Go ahead, Jared.
Funny. Yeah, so I mean, and this is hard because I'm a huge JJ guy, and I'm definitely on that side. But I mean, I definitely can see the narrative. And I'll just give 1 year as an example. I can see why. So if you take the Steve Nash MVP, for example, that year, like, obviously he had a good year. Well, he won 2 MVPs, but Shaq and Kobe statistically were both much better overall, just as far as statistics go, than Steve Nash. And it's not like the Suns had won a championship or anything. And so if I'm going to play devil's advocate, that's something to question. Why did Nash get 2 MVPs and Kobe only had 1, and
Right.
Shaq? And so it makes you think. You're like, okay, like, why? Is it just, and maybe it's because he's smaller and, the things he did, he was the Curry before Curry, in the sense that he kind of, that 7-second offense with Mike D'Antoni changed the game. And so that could be part of it, but that makes me question. And I love Nash. Other than LeBron, he's my favorite player of all time.
I know. Yeah.
But was he deserving of 2? I don't know. Could it have been something like that? I don't know what all went into that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And somebody else said, look, I think that they might just when it's close, they go with who they like, right? Because the voters, they just go with who they like.
Sure.
So there's a little bit of like, and who are the voters? I think it's the writers, right, Jared? Or who is it?
A bunch of writers, like all the different ones with, I don't know, ESPN.
Yeah, it's media members. They're not all writers, but
right.
It's media members. So yeah, like sometimes they go through their, like, I mean, look, if you are Jokic, and when they ask you a question, you just joke and say it's because I'm stat padding, and then you end the interview. Maybe you're less likely to get it than somebody who's given him the interview, or somebody who's given him a hot take or an inside scoop or something like that. I don't know.
But at the end of the day, if you wanted a completely objective winner, just make an algorithm to do it. Don't have humans do it.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, impact on team success, something like there's enough advanced stats now that we could just mathematically figure out the MVP if we wanted. That feels like it'd be less fun. It takes away the eye test is the problem. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's why you need humans doing it. I wasn't actually advocating for that. I'm saying.
So and the reason I think a lot of people are like, oh, let's not have these old guy writer associations doing it anymore. I'm like, okay, well, the problem is they're the ones with their eyes on the NBA the most, right? Who do you want to do it? The fans? The fans have proven that they're awful at voting. Let's not do that.
Taco!
Yeah, Taco Fall for All-Star.
Taco with everything on it.
Yes. No, the fans are not good at voting because they don't watch. The writers at least watch, So yeah, I don't know. I get it. I was actually really appreciative of the perspective that like some black players are like, it seems like white guys, when they are really good, do get hyped up by the white media. I'm like, that's something I would have never noticed. And yeah, I do appreciate that. Like getting
Jimmer at BYU. I'll give him his flowers though. Man gave Kawhi like 40 like every time they played. But a prime example if we're gonna play on that side.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I think we got one one sponsor we got to hit on really quick. Then we will maybe get out in the next 5-10 minutes here. We'll do one more giveaway. Sponsor is Perk Clothing. Grab a pair of their chinos. Casey, you need them. I was checking out your booty earlier. It looks a little flat. You know, the shorts, the cotton shorts, they're just not doing the trick for you. You need some Perk Chinos. Casey forgot his whole wardrobe. Actually, it was just still in the wash.
It's good. Yeah. I mean,
but guess what? If you have Perk Chinos, they wouldn't have been in the wash because they self-wash. I'm just kidding. They don't do that.
Whoa.
That's false advertising.
Well, I wouldn't put them in the wash, but I'd never take them off.
Yes, you sleep in them. Link in description. Buy one, get one 50% off. I think
Perk Clothing, get you some.
Get you some and make your butt look good. All right. We'll hit one more question here, and then we'll do our last NBA gift shop giveaway. We'll get out. I'll send this to you, Jared. Felix wants to know, pound for pound, who has a higher impact between Luka and Embiid, both at 33.3 points per game right now.
That's my other supporting arguments, by the way. So
Felix's take is, I'm going to guess it's Luka without even reading. Embiid has fewer reasons to win MVP this year. And voters want a good story as well. Third for Jokic is greater than first for Embiid in terms of a story. 3-time MVP. Yeah, I get you. And then they can do the whole thing where it's like, he's won 3 MVPs, but he's never won a ring. Jared, what do you think?
Right.
Embiid, Luka, higher impact?
Oh, that is one of the hardest questions. Props to you, Felix, because I think both are so valuable to their teams and what they offer. Overall, I would say Luka is probably higher impact. You take Luka off the Mavericks, and I don't even think they're a playoff team. And if you take Luka, yeah,
hot take.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You have Christian Wood, okay, Kyrie now, but like I don't even think they're a playoff team in the West. Now you take Embiid
Luka off the Mavericks, and they're probably winning the one of these sweepstakes.
Oh,
man.
yeah. That's the thing. And Embiid, as dominant and as much as he does, you take him off. I still think with Harris, Maxey, Harden, like they could evolve and they could still, especially in the East, like they could be a lower playoff team. But man, Luka, I think just does more. That being said, as far as just this season, I think Embiid has. I mean, I don't know. Embiid, it's been close, but overall, Luka, I think, has just more impact on his team. I mean, he does everything for them. Like literally,
I think Luka has more impact, and Luka plays. So I'm going to go with an eye test thing that you didn't mention.
Yeah.
Well, statistically, besides PPG, Luka also creates more offense. So he contributes. His contribution points is greater than Embiid's contribution points. Now, of course, Embiid out rebounds him, but not by that much. Luka is the second-rated rebounding guard. If you want to call him a guard, I would probably call him a forward if we're being honest. But he's a guard. He's on ball a lot. So he's the second highest rebounding guard behind Jason Tatum, if you want to call him a guard, right?
That one's a little more of a stretch.
That one's a little more of a stretch, yeah. Both of them are in the guard and forward category for that stat, by the way. They're both also in like the top 2 rebounding forwards, I think, or in the top 3, okay? So, yes, Embiid out-rebounds him, but not by a lot, honestly, especially considering that Embiid is a big man. And Luka has more contribution points. He averages, 8 or 9 assists, 8-point-something assists a game this year. Eye test, Luka plays on ball way more than Embiid does. Case in point, the other night against the Pacers, Embiid put up 40, 42, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 42.
How many assists did James Harden have?
That game he had 20 or something?
20 assists. Yeah. So Embiid is just getting fed by really what we didn't know. The person who we didn't know was one of the best distributors in the league in James Harden, but he just happens to, hey, happy surprise, this dude is a really good distributor. And if a team plays drop defense, which a lot of teams play drop defense in the East, Bucks, Harden will take them apart. And Embiid will get a lot of those buckets. So, yeah, Luka, because it's on ball, it's creating his own stuff. Embiid gets a lot created for him. That's what I think. I don't know. Let's give away an NBA shop gift card. Matt, where you at?
There you go. He's good. Oh, boy. Interesting.
This is cool.
Go with that one.
Yeah, there we go. Ooh, Matt giving us the full screen treatment.
Love that.
I
Love
like
that.
this. All right. If you are not on the wheel, it's because you didn't chat in. We said it throughout. Hopefully you heard it. You should have chatted in. If you didn't chat in, we're not going to wait for you now. We're just going to spin it. But come back. We give stuff away pretty much every episode. It's been every episode for a bunch in a row now. So just come back. You'll win something. Matt, spin that wheel, maybe. That was good timing, Matt.
He just knew.
That was good timing.
He's a wheel master.
Brandon.
Hey.
Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. On our playback channel, our more private channel, Brandon actually won last night. We do it a little bit different. We actually play games. So you can win NBA Shop gift cards by like being more like, there's like, they're not like high skill things, but Brandon won last night by winning a game called Spot the Random Item, where we hold up a random item at some point during the stream, and Brandon was the first person to spot it. So
yeah, that's 2 wins.
Two wins in
less
2
than
days.
24 hours.
2 wins in 2 days for Brandon.
Solid.
Brandon's on a hot streak. Nice job, Brandon.
Brandon, you know the drill. Email us at triplecrosspodcast@gmail.com. And I mean, now with 2 wins back to back like this, hopefully you didn't make your purchase and buy something smaller item. Maybe you get a bigger item
You
now.
could almost get a jersey now.
And maybe you send us a cool video being like,
Hey, here's my
jersey for free because it's awesome. We'd love to have that and share that.
That was a really good impression of Brandon. That sounded just like him.
That's my mental.
In your head, that's what Brandon sounds like?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I love Purple Cross. So yes.
I mean, I've always wanted a voice like that. I had to like perfect that impression just to be able to put that out there for that moment. But yeah.
Yeah, bro. Brandon says, bro, I'm on a roll. Yeah, Brandon, dude, you're definitely a candidate for MVP chatter of Triple Cross for the season. We should do a season MVP. We just had an idea live on the air. Okay, everybody, thank you for listening. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or I don't know, wherever else we put podcasts, all the places, any place that's audio, please rate the podcast. Please review the podcast. That really, really helps us. It helps us get like suggested to other people who watch other basketball, sports podcasts, things like that. If you are watching on YouTube, then listen to Casey.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you smash the like button because all the things John said helps us out. We really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not, I have a feeling most of the people in here are already subscribed. But if you're watching this back later, hit that subscribe button. Do the right thing. You want to. Make sure you hit the bell icon. You'll join our Noti gang. We get notifications whenever we go live. And you want to be on our show when we go live. That's how you win stuff. And if you like to win stuff, click the bell icon. It's that simple. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. John, thanks for being here, running the show. Love it. Look at that. We get the fist bump because we're in person.
Yes.
Jared, I can't fist bump you.
Jared, give us one through the screen. Ah. Yes, a double.
Love it, man. Thank you for being behind stage, taking care of that wheel spin for us. Everybody, thank you for being here. Triple Cross, we'll see you next time. Keep it free.